During the first lockdown, I assigned myself a task to watch one movie per night. Even though I studied film, I've never considered myself as a movie watcher. I'm not gonna lie, this task was fairly hard for me because when it comes to movies, I'm quite picky with them. I generally must prepare myself to watch a movie so that I can decode it better, to understand its message, and simply reflect on it. Tonight's video is not just a review, but an analysis why this film is still important and relevant, and how it brought me into tears. This video contains heavy spoilers, so my advice, watch the movie first and then come back. Arrival is a science fiction movie directed by Denis Villeneuve. It came out November 2016. Yes, I am reviewing a 4-year-old movie. Dr. Louise Banks, played by Amy Adams, is a linguist and professor at the local university. During a class, she notices that her students are completely absorbed by their devices. Boring class, you might suggest? Well, considering what happened next, sure, it does seem a bit boring. A few minutes later, her students ask Louise to turn on the news, where we find out that 12 UFOs have just landed on Earth. We see that Louise abruptly ends her class and leaves the university building, while the crowd around her are witnessing this historical event on their TV screens. So far, through the acting and direction of the film, we feel that Louise is a lonely person who is going through her own trauma of a lost child. Sitting in her office, possibly grading midterm tests, because that's what a true professor would do during the first encounter with aliens, right? She was approached by the head of the military forces, played by Forrest Whitaker. He asked Louise to join the group of scientists that will investigate those spaceships and try to decode the alien language to understand what on earth has brought them here, literally. Later in that night, he lands a helicopter on her backyard and takes her to Montana, to the new military base that is set close to one of the spaceships. Coming on board, Louise meets a theoretical physicist called Ian Donnelly, played by Jeremy Renner. Close to Arrival, they see a giant bean look like a spaceship, beautifully captured by a director of photography, Bradford Young. No, I couldn't not mention such a magnificent cinematography in this movie. They get to the base. They are guided by military officials that explain them do's and don'ts, and here they are. Dr. Banks and Dr. Donnelly are inside the ship, where they are both about to initiate humanity's first encounter with the alien species. Now that we established all story elements, let's get into hardcore analysis. As a disclaimer, by no means I'm a professional movie critic, but the fact that I studied film theory in terms of cinematography, editing and directing, it has helped me to understand this movie from a filmmaking perspective. And from the further points that I will make in this video, it does make sense, at least for me. It is indeed a movie about communication. However, is it about communication just with aliens? Or communication with government, citizens, with yourself? The thing is, it depends on your perception. As for me, the depicted communication is related to Louise's relationship with her child.
I hate you!
It's not a coincidence. Well, nothing actually is a coincidence in movies. That we see Louise's interaction with her own child that then dies from cancer. The moment we see how Louise and Ian are teaching two aliens named Abbott and Costello a human language and human actions, it does seem like you would do the same to teach your own child what is it like to be a functioning human. Not only that, but eventually their communication leads to a strong trust. I read the book on parenting and I found out that the first thing that child learns is a trust. Looking back to previous works of Denis Villeneuve, he explores the theme of familial ties and bonding. Prisoners, Enemy, and even Blade Runner partially tell this kind of parenting family narrative. Here comes Arrival, where the family topic is discussed much deeper in a more direct way. Studying digital communication and mass media, it was almost like a case study for me. How media affects the psyche of consumers and how minds are molded and perceived by the language of the media. The subtopic of semantic noise is also shown correctly in the scenes where a young soldier is having a talk with his wife over the phone.
Just calm down. Just calm down.
Becky asked me if the monsters are going to kill Daddy.
Honey, it's not gonna happen.
Contact with whoever it is that is inside that thing. And who do we have running the show? The government. That's right, folks. The same government who ruined our healthcare and bankrupted our military. We are falling asleep at the wheel, people. You know what I'm talking about? I know you do. What if the smartest thing we could do right now would be to give them a show of force? I'm talking about a shot across the bow. I want to hear what you think. Caller number 1, you're on the air.
Even though he was inside the spaceship, he has seen those aliens. They did no harm to him or anyone else. This soldier decides to destroy the ship. Because at that moment, he trusted more to his wife, to the media he watched, to online podcasts he listened, regardless of his own understanding of the situation. Semantic noise refers to when a speaker and listener have different interpretations of the meanings of certain words. This is visually presented as a thick glass, whether a glass between aliens and human, or TV screens and audience. In the midsection of the movie, we understand that these creatures landed on Earth to trade and engage in cultural exchange with humans. But the way it is decoded by scientists, it sounds like they say,
Offer weapon.
the mass media spins misinformation into aggressive threat.
We need to sit on this information till we know what it means. So we aren't sharing it with our enemies. We have to consider the idea that our visitors are prodding us to fight among ourselves until only one faction prevails.
There's no evidence of that.
Sure there is. Just grab a history book. The British with India, the Germans with Rwanda. They even got a name for it in Hungary.
Nations of the world become nervous and they are planning to attack those 12 UFOs. This is highly relevant to culture and social relations in present days. We divide groups into stereotypes and social rails based on our perceived belief of them. Louise does visit their spaceship to talk with one of the aliens. She finds out there is just one now. Quick remark. She eventually learns their language and communicates with the alien not through this thick wall, but face to face, or tentacle to tentacle, meaning they could clearly understand each other now. The alien tells her that both human race and aliens need to support each other. They will share tools to do that. He gives her the tool of time. These aliens do not communicate or perceive time linearly, but all at the same moment. They don't have past, present, or future, but all at once. We, as viewers, realize that those flashbacks that Louise had were not in the past, but in the future.
You changed my mind. You're the reason for this unification.
Well, I'll go now without the script. It's 6 AM and I think I finished the video. It didn't go in the direction I planned it to go, but damn, it feels like a solid work. I wanna end this video with some words about Arrival. This is my favorite film, period. While editing this video, I even got a bit emotional. At some point, maybe we also need to expect a help from outer space in 2020. So for now, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe, wear masks, dream on, and good night.